And welcome. Hello, everyone. How are you all doing? Welcome to today's live stream. I hope all of you are doing well. I hope I'm audible, visible, everything is good. And let's get this conversation rolling. All right, Aryan Kohli, welcome. Kak Mubin, how to become criminal interrogator. For a moment, I thought I had dyslexia, broken tooth. I had dyslexia reading your name. Do you guys listen to the Huberman Lab podcast? Oh, Monkey Path podcast. Very interesting comment. Huberman Lab is a very good podcast. It's all about neuroscience. You should definitely check it out. Mm, all right. All right. Now I'm going to take off this chat and keep it in front of me so that I can read it over here. All right, brilliant. How are you all doing? How's everyone? Can we get a quick thumbs up in the chat? Is everyone doing great? बताओ. Aryan Kohli, Sub Broken Tooth, Vibhor Garg, hello said, hi Vibhor. Anish Shinde, Sudipto, how do I become a neurosurgeon? Sudipto, that's a long journey. MBBS, MS, then MSc, MCH neurosurgery. So that's like 15 years of studying. Varmeet Singh is going like this. All right, mixed messages. Aryan Kohli, I'm really happy today. Is that because YouTube is allowing your chat to be seen? Prasanna, I'm doing great. How are you? I'm doing great, Prasanna. Thank you so much. Prince G, love the way you teach. Thank you, Prince. I appreciate that. Gaurav Mohite. All right. So, what's the plan? आज क्या बात करना है? Today we're going to talk about neuroscience. And we're going to talk about a couple of things. We're going to talk about what is it? Why are we talking about neuroscience? What is this thing? Why are we in this journey? So that's one of the things. And I'm going to try out some interesting stuff today. Which headphones do you have? I have the Sony XM4. It's pretty good. It's got noise cancelling and it's very comfortable. Your stream really helps me with my psychology studies, Neha. I'm so glad. That is superb. Finally, neuroscience of neuroscience. What's your thought on stoicism, Shivang? Stoicism, I have read about it. I believe that all these philosophies basically emerge from a very core wish to understand our place in the universe. So that's what stoicism is. That's what existentialism is. They're all attempts to understand our place in the universe. And all of them are somehow connected with death. So that's the thing. Mortality defines philosophy. So a life without mortality would be very, very different. So all of our philosophies are actually rooted in the fact that we die. So stoicism is one of the ways in which we come to terms with the fact that we die. Any thoughts on addiction control? Addiction control is one of the most difficult things because the way that our brain is designed, we want to keep doing things that our brain tells us is good for us. And all the addictive things have a way of fooling our brain into thinking that this is really good for me. And that is the reason why we want to keep doing it. So when a smoker picks up the cigarette, the dopamine spike hits his nucleus accumbens and his brain is convinced that this is it. This is what I'm supposed to do. This is what is going to help me survive. And it is very difficult to convince a brain that is already so convinced that this is the best thing for me, which is why addiction is difficult. You need to reverse the whole process, which is why addiction, the answer is never one line. It's never like, get over it. It's not like that. You need to reverse the whole process of addiction. So all the areas where the network is damaged, you need to correct it. So it is a intensive process. You need to undergo counseling. There are medicines that can help, but it is usually a mixture of all these things. Cognitive behavioral therapy is a very important aspect. Shreyansh Singh, your thoughts on free will. Shreyansh, I am going to talk a lot more about free will in the coming future. But first and foremost, before I do anything else, I have a quick announcement. I am going to be conducting a workshop on 14th and 15th of August, and it is going to be on basics of neuroscience. So all the questions that people keep asking me about what should I read for neuroscience, if I want to understand simple stuff about neuroscience, where do I go, what do I do, all of that, I thought let's just do a workshop. It is going to be a 2-day workshop. It's a total of 6 hours, and there is going to be basically from start to finish everything about the brain, assuming that you have not attended a single session of mine. How do you get to know the brain? And from the brain, how do you get to know yourself? That is what the workshop is going to be. The link is in the description. I hope that you can see it. Otherwise, I'm going to just copy it onto the chat as well. All right. So that's the link. Check it out, see if you're interested, and do sign up if it sounds like something you want to do. Now, best book for clinical neurology, according to me, it is a tie-up between De Jong and Brazis. So depending on what level you are at, if you are an MBBS student, then Bickerstaff would probably be a good option. But if you are an MD student, definitely I would recommend that you try out De Jong. And if you're a neurology DM student, then De Jong or Brazis. Both of them are excellent. Waldy's here. Good evening, Waldy. How was your day? It's been very good. Thank you so much. Jainath Arava, can you please talk about the backwards law? All right, let's check it out. Let's check out what is the backwards law. Now, hang on. I'm going to try something. I'm going to try if I can share my screen to this. Let's see. All right. Can you guys see that? Let's see. Backwards law. Let's look for it. I thought I'll try out something new. I thought I'll share some interesting things with you guys that I found in the last few weeks, and we can have a fun chat. Okay, what is backwards law? The backwards law, why happiness is ruining your life. Okay, Alan Watts backwards law. Let's check it out. When you try and surface, one of the more famous ones is backwards law. His backwards, essentially, the more you try and grab hold of something, the more it slips through your fingers. Well, okay. The more you try to grab onto something, the more it slips through your fingers. I don't really think so. What does happen is that we give a lot more importance to something when you don't have it. And that is one of the ironic things about motivation and seeking behavior. We want something, but what you don't understand is that we want to want something. What we are actually chasing is that wanting, not the thing itself. So this is one of the ironies of all motivation behavior. And you really need to understand this about yourself, that when you say you want something, do you really want it, or do you just want to want it? Can you explain the computational theory of mind? So from what I understand, what you're saying about computational theory of mind, it is trying to understand the mind from the analogy of computers. But again, let's check it out, shall we? What is computational theory of mind? Okay. Computational Theory of Mind, Stanford Encyclopedia. Could a machine think? Could the mind itself be a thinking machine? The computer revolution transformed discussions of these questions. All right, yeah. So that is what it is. It is about classical computational theory of mind, machine functioning, neural networks. Yeah, pretty much exactly that. Well, my theory is that the mind is a construct that we create. The mind is like the software version of the brain. And so the way we perceive our mind, the way we visualize our mind keeps changing. It depends on whatever metaphor we have available. So right now, we think our mind is like a computer because that is the analogy that we have with us. We cannot think of a metaphor that doesn't exist. So in the next 100 years, suppose technology advances and we have whatever comes after the computer, then we will think that our mind is like that, right? So that's metaphors are a way of us understanding our own brain or understanding any concept. I want you all to like the stream. Yes, Waldy, thank you so much for reminding me. Everybody like the stream. Can you make it however number of people who are watching just like the stream? Also leave comments below because one of the things that I want to do in the next week is that every week I want to pick up 5 to 10 questions from the comments and make small videos on them. So whatever is the question, you can put it up in the comments below the video. And I'm going to take 5 to 10 questions every week and make a video answering each one of them as a separate video. All right. So the first 5 questions I've already picked up. They are, can you talk about insomnia? Can you talk about stammering? Can you talk about what is gut feeling? Can you talk about what is instinct? And somebody had sent a very interesting article on Discord on languishing. So that's what I'm going to be talking about in the first video. I'm shooting it right now. Hopefully it'll be ready in 5-6 days. So that's what we're going to do. So remember to comment below the video once it is published, and I'm going to pick it up from there. Can you please talk about guilt? Can you please talk about No Fap and is it healthy? All right, I'm going to give you my 2-minute reaction to No Fap, okay? So when we talk of No Fap, we mean stop masturbating. So say no to masturbation. Now, anything that can give you a dopamine kick has the potential of getting addictive, and masturbation is no different. Anything that has to do with sex and sexuality can give you a dopamine kick because that is the way the brain is wired. Now, if somebody is addicted to masturbation, then it has to be handled like any other addiction. But to say that masturbation itself is bad is absolutely untrue. It is not true. Masturbation itself does not have any negative effects, but addiction to masturbation has a lot of negative effects. So you have to understand the difference. Okay. Now, when you say No Fap, what they are basically trying to say is learn discipline. Learn to say no to the things that are controlling you. So if, say, you want to eat a chocolate cake every day, then it is no chocolate cake. If you are addicted to masturbation, then it is no to masturbation. If you're addicted to cigarette smoking, then it is no to cigarette smoking. So the important part of No Fap is not the fap. It is the no. Drill that into your head. When people say No Fap, ignore the fap part and focus on the no. Learn to say no to yourself. Whatever is a craving, learn to say no. Everything that you do throughout the day should be in your control. That thing should not be controlling you. That is the take-home message of No Fap. I hope this is clear. Masturbation itself is not unhealthy. Okay. बढ़िया समझाया भाई. अरे यार, ये इसमें इतना मतलब कंट्रोवर्सी है ना No Fap पे. It's nonsense. मतलब people have made entire careers with No Fap, man. It's kind of a scam. You shouldn't fall for that. The idea is just about discipline. That's it. How boredom changes the brain. Oof, lovely question. I love it. Before that, can I just welcome Hari to Sid students? Hari Krishna, welcome to the membership. I hope you have a wonderful time over here. So, how does boredom change the brain? Another way of asking is, why do we get bored, or how is boredom good for you? Now, boredom has always had a negative connotation. Nobody says, I'm so bored and I'm so glad that I'm bored. Everybody thinks that boredom is bad, but that is not true. When you are bored, your brain is basically looking around for what I should pay attention to. Let me say that again. When you are bored, it is basically your brain looking around to see what should I pay attention to. And that is a very powerful thing. Your attention is otherwise always occupied all the time, 24 hours, 24/7, 365. Your attention is always on something or the other. Instagram, Twitter, a movie, Netflix, your friends, your work, your family, some book you're reading, something or the other is always taking your attention and keeping it pinned to that thing. The whole world is struggling for your attention. Boredom is the one time where your attention is not fixed, where your attention is not pinned, where your attention is actually free. Isn't that a wonderful thing? When you are bored, your attention is finally free. And so I suggest that the next time you are bored, you really learn to enjoy it, because it is very rare. It does not happen in today's world very much, because the world is designed now to keep you from getting bored. Boredom is a crime. In Bo Burnham's brilliant song, Welcome to the Internet, he talks about how boredom is a crime. Apathy is a tragedy and boredom is a crime. That's what he says. And that is so true. The internet is designed to make you feel that if you are bored, you are fuck all. Just what are you doing? What do you mean you're bored? There's so much to do. How can you be bored? Getting bored in today's world is a privilege. Allow yourself that privilege. Allow yourself to be bored and see what your mind is capable of when you are bored. So boredom is your brain giving the attention network a rest, right? Very, very importantly, boredom is also when creativity happens. So when your attention is not fixed on something, it is now free to wander and go through random neurons and connect random neurons to random neurons. And that is how you get ideas. That is how new things come up. So unless you allow yourself to be bored, how can you be creative? So boredom is the precursor to creativity, if you know how to channelize it. So boredom is an incredible thing. Do not badmouth boredom. Enjoy it. All right. Be lasagna, especially when you feel sexual guilt about your past relationships. Wait, is this a continuation of some comment? Can you talk about guilt of the past, especially sexual guilt about your past relationships? Guilt is your brain telling you that there is something to be learned from your past. Guilt in itself is a good thing. I will never say don't feel guilty. There is a reason that you are feeling guilty. You need to understand what that is. The problem is, just like grief, we have done a whole video on grief. I don't know if you have seen it, but we talked about grief and we talked about complicated grief. So grief itself is your brain coming to terms with loss. But complicated grief is when that grief extends to such a level that it interferes with your activities, your functioning, and then it is a problem. Similarly, I believe that guilt is your brain readjusting certain situations in your mind. And it's a beautiful thing. When you are guilty, what that means is that there is a combination of things that are happening because of the way that society has designed certain things to be. Your brain has decided that ये सही है, ये गलत है. ठीक है? So your brain has decided that some things are supposed to be in a particular way. And whenever you do something that is against that, guilt is your brain's way of telling you, okay, you need to revisit this. देख तूने क्या किया. सोच उसके बारे में. Figure out what is it that you did and then move ahead. Nothing wrong in that. That is how you learn. That is how you grow. The concern is that we don't do that. We don't learn and grow. What happens is we just keep thinking about the guilt. It is the equivalent of opening a textbook and just reading the chapter title again and again and again and again and again. What's the point of reading the chapter title again and again? You're supposed to read the chapter, understand it, and then use it. So that's the problem of guilt, that we feel that guilt should not happen. That's not true. Guilt is a way of learning, provided that you do learn from it. Welcome to the internet, boredom, especially when you feel sexual. Boredom gives us opportunity to observe less intense stimulations around us. Absolutely. Now, hold on. Nihar Batla, welcome to Sid's Place. I hope you have a wonderful time as a member on the channel. Let me see how many. Okay, chalo. I'll see how many members I have. If I have 100 members or more, I'm going to do members only streams. Like once a week, I'll do members only streams. Members and mods. If I can do that. I don't know if I can do that. But yeah, I think I can. Members only streams once a week, I'll do that. How to get rid of too much emotional attachment? Sarah. How to get rid of too much emotional attachment? The way that we interpret emotional attachment is we feel like it is all or none. कि ये नहीं हुआ तो कुछ नहीं हुआ. We think that emotions are forever. Because that's the trick that your brain plays. No, it's like it gives you the feeling of immortality. Emotions, you when you're feeling an emotion, you always trick yourself into thinking that this is going to last forever. If you're happy, you feel you'll be happy forever. If you're sad, you'll feel you'll be sad forever. Both of them are false. But your brain doesn't let you do that. You trick yourself. Emotions are transient. The problem happens when attachment isn't transient. We think that the effect of emotions will last forever, and that can happen. But emotions don't. Emotions will change. You'll be happy today, you'll be sad tomorrow, because that is just your brain reacting to whatever is there in front of you. Shreyansh Singh, welcome to Sid's Place, man. How to deal with imposter syndrome? Chinmaya. Ooh, long question. That's why I did an entire stream on this, but let's talk about this for 2 minutes. Imposter syndrome. I just tweeted very recently about imposter syndrome and how I believe that human beings as a species has imposter syndrome because of the way that we have evolved. Think about this. We evolved from monkeys. We are not very far away from monkeys. Our brain networks are still very much in that same system. Monkeys are not on the top of the food pyramid. Monkeys are constantly afraid that predators are going to come and kill them. Do you think we are any different? We are still wired like that. Our amygdala is still super sensitive to anything that is going to come and kill us. We are always on the lookout for कौन आ रहा है, क्या होगा, ये क्या सोचेगा, ये सोचा तो क्या बोलेगा. All the time, throughout the day, we are always worried. Our monkey brains are always worried of who is coming to kill us. And yet, somehow, we find ourselves on top of the food chain. On top of lions, tigers, gorillas, all of them, Now we are on top. Human beings are on top of the food chain. How did we get here? Now, cortically, our neocortex knows how we got here. Our logical brain knows how we got here. But to our limbic system, we are still very much scared monkeys in the jungle. And so at a very fundamental level, we have imposter syndrome. We are like, I know that I am here. I know I got this job, but do I really deserve it? Have I done enough to deserve this? What am I doing here? Do I know what I'm doing? Which is exactly the feeling any new employee gets if they get a new job, which is any time you get a promotion and suddenly, as opposed to you sitting with your 10 friends, now suddenly you are their boss, you get that feeling, wait, why are they answering to me? What have I done to deserve this? Do I really know what I'm doing? I got that feeling every year of residency. So when I entered residency in my first year, I got imposter syndrome. In my second year, when I got juniors and they were asking me what to do. In my third year, when I got 2 years of juniors and my professors were now turning to me and saying, "Ha, Siddharth, you will handle it, right?" I was getting serious imposter syndrome because wait, I'm just 2 years into this. How am I supposed to answer all these questions? How am I supposed to just know everything? Imposter syndrome is universal. सबके साथ होता है. It cannot be helped. It is just because we are always doubting ourselves. And I think one of the reasons is that we are wired to doubt ourselves because we are always scared. Okay. Wait, did you say there's a lag? Is there a lag? I'm going to show you something interesting. A teenager has been asking me, why do people gaslight? So, okay, let's do this. Let's first read the definition. I've actually been curious about this. The exact definition क्या है? What is gaslighting? Gaslighting is a form of Gaslighting is a way of manipulating somebody by psychological means into doubting their own sanity. Okay. Wait, iske pehle there was a different. Gaslighting is a form of emotional abuse that's seen in abusive relationships. It is the act of manipulating a person by forcing them to question their thoughts, memories, and the events occurring around them. A victim of gaslighting can be pushed so far that they question their own sanity. Okay. So the way that gaslighting works is when you have your own life experiences. And because of your own life experiences, you have come to certain conclusions. And you are now of the opinion that A is equal to B. Now somebody else will come and say that A is not equal to B. Are you sure that all the things that you saw and went through and heard, are you sure those things actually happened? Could it be that you misunderstood those situations because A is not equal to B? So it's like this reverse of thing. It happens a lot of times with any power dynamic. So gaslighting usually happens when there's a power dynamic, whether it's sexism, racism, any of that. There is a lot of gaslighting when anybody with more power can question the narrative of somebody with less power. And yeah, it's basically a proof that stories change. Changing a story can change reality. That's what gaslighting is. Changing somebody's story can change their reality. Shubhranshu Panda, can you please keep this video public? All back to basic streams will remain public. Do not worry about that. Does your brain eat itself from lack of sleep? That is a very graphic way of putting it, but in a way, yes. So what happens? One of the many things that happens during sleep is there is something called as the glymphatic system. Okay, I'm going to show you. The glymphatic system is the, I don't know how many of you have heard of this glymphatic system. So can you see this? The glymphatic system is a network of vessels that clears waste from the central nervous system, mostly during sleep. Recent evidence suggests that glymphatic system may be disrupted in and contribute to some diseases of the brain. Now, when you fall asleep, that is when the glymphatic system is acting more. And the function of the glymphatic system is to clear out the waste products. So दिन भर जो भी waste accumulate होता है, जो भी toxins accumulate होता है, वो सब कुछ निकालता है glymphatic system, और वो रात को ज़्यादा निकालता है. और अगर समझो आपका नींद बराबर नहीं हुआ, suppose you are not sleeping properly and suppose you have chronically bad sleep habits, then these toxins, these waste products gradually keep accumulating and it basically clogs up the brain. Think of it like a highway where there is a network of roads and there is the sewage system. And if the sewage system isn't cleaned, gradually there will be backloading, and then it'll all come onto the highway. So nowadays, even Alzheimer's disease is considered to be one of the problems that comes when the glymphatic system is not working. So one of the theories behind Alzheimer's disease is that the glymphatic system is affected, right? So I should get that Elgato Stream Deck. I've been watching that video and I think it looks super cool. I can just do all these scene changes quickly. You know what? I think one of the main reasons for streaming is so that you have an excuse to get new tech. So if I have to ask about, if I have to confess to addictions, I would say that I think I'm kind of addicted to gadgets. Everybody has some addiction. Everybody has some addiction, something or the other. I think I'm addicted to gadgets. I think even if I'm not buying them or getting them, I'm always looking at them. I always like to keep watching videos about them, see what is new, what is coming up. So yeah, I think that's my addiction. What is yours, by the way? Confess. Tell me, what is your addiction? I'm going to assume that everybody has a sugar addiction at some level, because it's just the way it is, the way of the way of society right now. Horror neuroscience. Are you saying neuroscience of horror? Neuroscience of horror is basically neuroscience of fear plus story. This is the difference. It's actually a beautiful question. What is the difference between fear and horror? Fear is a primitive response. You see something scary, you are afraid. You go back. Oh my God, something is scary. That is fear. Horror is different. Horror requires context. Horror requires a story. Horror is a evolved reaction. So every emotion has a primitive sense and an evolved sense. So fear's evolved version is horror. Isn't that amazing? Horror requires context. Horror requires a story. It's kind of the difference between lust and love. Lust is a primitive response. You see somebody, you are attracted to them, that crush, that infatuation, all of that. It is sudden, it is primitive, it is instinctive. Love is more cortical. You create a story. That is how love works. Love is creating a story around your infatuation, around your lust, around your sudden feeling of affection. So that's how the primitive and the cortical brain work together to create you. Again, going back, see the pinned message, 14th of August, 14th and 15th of August, basics of neuroscience, 6 hours workshop. All of this is going to be talked about. CJD or Jacob's disease. Okay. CJD, couple of people have asked, or maybe the same person has asked a couple of times. What is CJD? Creutzfeldt-Jakob's disease. It is a prion disease. What is prion? Prion is a protein So proteins are there in the body, obviously, and their proteins are there in the brain. Now, proteins have a property of folding. So you have primary, secondary, tertiary structures of proteins as the proteins keep folding. So alpha, beta, gamma, so on. Now, proteins have to bend in a certain way in order for them to function properly. But some of the proteins are not bent properly. And so they start accumulating on top of each other. They start stacking up. And so that can create degenerative diseases. It can cause degeneration in the brain. And Prions disease or Creutzfeldt-Jakob disease is one of them. Another example is mad cow disease. If you've heard of this, mad cow disease, that is also a prion protein disease. Do not ignore, it is giving me FOMO. Ignore kya kiya re maine? When are you going to play games? I did play a couple of games. So I'm going to do something. I'm going to stream It Takes Two with Smriti. So we're going to play it together. So we'll be sharing a screen and we're going to play it. So I think that'll be fun. I don't know. You tell me if you guys will want to watch that. So wait, can I show you something interesting? I was reading about Neuralink. Okay. Now, hold on. I'm going to show you something about Neuralink, okay? Yeah. So, how many of you have heard about Neuralink, first of all? Tell me that. Yeah, I think this is clear. How many of you have heard about Neuralink? Neuralink is, okay, Prabjot, Nihar, Elon Musk, exactly. Vinay, yes, you've heard of it. Okay, excellent. So, Neuralink is Elon Musk's fourth startup, I think, after Tesla, SpaceX, Solar City or Solar Roof, Neuralink, and Boring Company. So those are the five startups of. Although I think Solar is now part of Tesla, so yeah, 4: Tesla, SpaceX, Neuralink, and the Boring Company. Oh, Hyperloop, but Hyperloop is not his. He made a white paper and he released it, right? Like he doesn't own Hyperloop anymore. So that's not it. Oh, first of all, before I talk about this, there were a couple of super chats that I missed. Hold on. Let me just quickly check. Okay. Shraddha Srivastav, is there anything we can do to improve our memory? Basically, when I read an educational article or something, I tend to forget it in a day. Shraddha, this happens a lot. It happens with me as well, unless I take special care to not forget. And the way to do this is, if this is important to you, make sure that it comes back into your life in some way, at least once more. That's the only thing you have to do. I'm not going to give a very complicated lecture on how memory works, but the only thing you have to do, if something is important, if you want to remember something, make sure that it comes back into your attention span at some point in your life, anytime. It doesn't matter. It doesn't have to be tomorrow. It can be next year also. But put in that effort to bring it back into your life. The way you can do this is by making notes. You can write it down somewhere, but it has to be written in a place that will come back to your life. कहीं पे भी नोटबुक में लिख के छोड़ दिया, वो नोटबुक चला गया, कभी खोला ही नहीं उसके बाद वापस, तो फिर तुम भूल जाओगे. You can bookmark it and keep it, but you have hundreds of thousands of bookmarks. फायदा नहीं है. If you are really keen on remembering it, you can send the link to yourself as a mail. You can schedule it. You can put a reminder saying that read this again in 7 days, 10 days, 100 days. It doesn't matter. But put in that effort to bring that piece of information back into your life at least once more. And that is how you will remember it. Because the simple act of putting in that effort will tell your brain that this is important, and the way it will take in that information is going to change. That's it. Memory is all about context. You need to give it that context. Okay, so this works if you're a student and you're listening and you want to learn how to study better. Remember this. Whatever you're reading, if you think this is important, make sure that it circles back to you one more time. And you can't just say कि मैं पूरा textbook वापस पढ़ूंगा. That doesn't work. That's very abstract. Do it for specific pieces of information. All right. I think there was one more super chat. Hold on. Oh, Vibor Garg, I appreciate what you're doing. Thank you, Vibor. I appreciate that. I appreciate the super chat. Sweet of you. Okay. Can I stop my addiction towards porn and how to control that enzyme? So we just spoke about No Fap. Absolutely. If you're addicted to porn, then it has to be dealt with like any other addiction. So the way to do it is like you would deal with any other addiction. You need to basically reduce your dependence on it. You have to make sure that all the energy that you spend towards getting whatever it is that you're addicted to, you are channeling it towards something else, which also gives you a dopamine kick. And sometimes, or a lot of times, you may require therapy or counseling, which is absolutely fine. You should go for it, because it is not fair that your attention and your desires and your motivation is completely held captive by that thing that you're addicted to. So it is a kind of kidnapping. So that is what you should avoid. You don't allow anything to kidnap you, right? If somebody kidnaps you, kitna gussa aega? Like how annoyed would you be if somebody kidnaps you? That is what addiction is. Something has just kidnapped your attention, your motivation, your sense of purpose. That is so wrong. So don't let that happen. Is CJD curable? I'm afraid not. CJD is one of the diseases that up till now there has been no cure. So it is unfortunately a very serious disease. All right, let's talk about Neuralink. Now, wait, इसको ना थोड़ा और छोटा कर दे रहा हूँ. एक second. Right. Cool. Can you see it? Now, what Neuralink is, and this is mind-blowing to me, and this is very important that all of you know, because it is going to change our lives. I believe this. If not Neuralink specifically, but I believe that brain-machine interfaces, and that is the larger theme of the topic. In fact, I think that is where we should begin our discussion from. Brain-machine interfaces. So people who are asking me about schizophrenia, bipolar, do one thing, just put it in the comments below the video after it is done, a list of the psychiatric illnesses you want me to talk about. And in one video, I'll talk about each one of them in 3, 4 minutes. Okay. So back to this. What is brain-machine interfaces? The idea is that your brain is connected through neurons and there is neural signals passing across. Now, brain-machine interfaces, it is a device that translates neuronal information into commands capable of controlling external software or hardware, such as a computer or a robotic arm. Brain-machine interfaces are used as assisted living devices for individuals with motor and sensory impairments. Now, this is what I think is going to happen. Like all major advances, technology is initially, the biggest leaps in technology happens either because of health or because of war. Okay. But of course, the end goal is money. Obviously, everybody wants to make money, and these companies will also want to make money. But the way they will first talk about it is that, oh, it can help people who are sick. And it can help people who are sick. That's the thing. Brain machine interfaces can and will help people with paralysis and all of that. But it's not going to stop there. Somebody with paralysis with a brain machine interface, if they're able to lift an artificial limb, or if they're able to open doors, or if they're able to drive a car, it is not going to stop there. Eventually, people who don't have any disability will also find use for it more and more and more. And I'm pretty sure that in our lifetime, we will see normal people, everyday people with brain machine interfaces. It might take 10 years, 20 years, 30 years, but that's my gut feeling. Cyborgs, exactly. It's not because of laziness at all, curiosity. It's not because of laziness. It is because we have an inherent desire to do new things. That's what it is. We want to be better. We want to grow. We want to do things we haven't done before. And this is one of them. Cyberpunk 2077, yes. We are going to be talking about Neuralink a lot more on this channel, 100%, because I feel this is a very, very important thing. But for now, I'm going to just show you one video. Okay. Where is it? Where is it? Now I'm going to show you one video and tell me if you can hear it.
This is Pager.
Can you hear
He's
it?
a 9-year-old macaque who had a Neuralink placed in each side of his brain about 6 weeks ago. If you look carefully, you can see that the fur on his head hasn't quite fully grown back yet. He's learned to interact with a computer for a tasty banana smoothie delivered through a straw. We can interact with the Neuralinks simply by pairing them to an iPhone, just as you might pair your phone to a Bluetooth speaker. The links record from more than 2,000 electrodes implanted in the regions of Pager's motor cortex that coordinate hand and arm movements. Neurons in this region modulate their activity with intended hand movement. For example, some might become more active when he moves his hand up, and others when he moves it to the right. By recording from many neurons and feeding their activity into a decoder algorithm, we are able to predict Pager's intended hand movements in real time.
Okay, what is going on? What's happening so far? Abhi tak story so far kya ho raha hai? The monkey Page, every time, so the monkey has a joystick in the right hand, and using that joystick, it is able to move that white dot across the screen. Okay, so move up, down, left, right. Okay, so it is able to control that white dot. It is supposed to chase that orange square. So every time the orange square moves, the monkey will use the joystick and bring it up to the orange square. Okay, now how do we train the monkey to keep on doing that? The same way we would train any human being, by rewarding it. So every time the white dot hits that orange square, the monkey can take in some banana smoothie through that straw. So only when the dot hits the square, it gets some smoothie. So that is the reward system. As edits by Shobit correctly said, it's a reward system. And so the monkey quickly learns that yehi karna hai mujhe, yehi karna hai. So what is interesting is, this is a different tangent, but even if the straw stops giving smoothie intermittently, the monkey will still do it in the hope, in the anticipation that I will get it, which is also how we train human beings all across. We don't reward them all the time. Salary कब मिलता है? महीने के end में, और कभी कभी वो भी delay होता है, but people keep working क्योंकि hope है कि कभी ना कभी तो मिलेगा. मुंबई में सबका होप है कि मेट्रो कभी ना कभी तो बनेगा, इसीलिए हम लोग रोज ट्रैफिक में बैठते हैं. ये होप पे दुनिया कायम है, ठीक है. Like that is like an old saying, but that is the way that all of us are trained. Again, that is why I'm saying that we are all monkeys. We are not any different. But coming back to this monkey is trained to move his hand and connect the white dot to the orange square. Now what? That monkey has implants in the brain. The implants are not doing anything to the monkey. Okay? The implants are learning which neurons are firing when the monkey is trying to move the joystick up or down or left or right. Okay? So far, the neurons are just picking those electrodes. Those electrodes that are implanted in the monkey's brain is only picking up those signals. So, say there are A, B, C, D, 4 neurons, 4 sets of neurons. Now, when A set of neurons fire, the monkey is trying to move the joystick up. When the B set of neurons fire, the monkey is trying to move the joystick down. C and D, left and right. Cool? Are you with me so far? Now let's watch ahead.
First, we calibrate the decoder by recording neural activity as Pager uses the joystick to move a cursor to targets presented on the screen. As he's playing this game, we're wirelessly streaming, in real time, firing rates from thousands of neurons to a computer. Using these data, we calibrate the decoder by mathematically modeling the relationship between patterns of neural activity and the different joystick movements they produce. After only a few minutes of calibration, we can use the output from the decoder to move the cursor instead of the joystick.
Okay. Wait, you can't see this, but hold on. Yeah. Can you see that now? First of all, yes, edited by Shobit. He is getting better. But now what is he doing? Can you notice how that joystick is no longer connected to the screen? This is the point where my mind got blown. That initially the joystick was connected. Okay, can you see over here? If I just zoom back, the joystick is connected to the screen, but if you keep going forward, there you go. See, the joystick is not connected anymore because now those implants are directly picking up signals from A, B, C, D set of neurons. And now the implants know that A set of neurons means the joystick has to go up. And so it is directly sending the signals from the brain to the machine, to the computer, and the cursor is moving just like that. And the mind-blowing thing is, the monkey doesn't know. The monkey thinks that the joystick is still moving that damn cursor. Because that is how the brain works. The monkey feels that मैं joystick घुमा रहा हूँ इसलिए घूम रहा है कि भाई नहीं तुम्हारे brain से direct connection जा रहा है. And this is crazy because at how many levels will you fool yourself? Okay, let's play it one more time. Hold on.
And up, and others when he moves it to the right. By recording from many mathematics.
Yeah.
After only a few minutes of calibration, we can use the output from the decoder to move the cursor instead of the joystick. Pager still moves the joystick out of habit, but as you can see, it's unplugged. He's controlling the cursor entirely with decoded neural activity. Our goal is to enable a person with paralysis to use a computer or phone with their brain activity alone. Because they wouldn't be able to move a joystick, they would calibrate the decoder by imagining hand movements to targets. One of the things the Neuralinks allow Pager to do is to play his favorite video game, Pong. To control his paddle on the right side of the screen, Pager simply thinks about moving his hand up or down. We've removed the joystick altogether. Now that he's up to speed, let's increase the difficulty and see how well Pager can play with the Neuralink.
Oh my god! Tell me this is not mind-blowing. And this is our future.
As you can see,
Okay,
Pager is
make no
amazingly
mistake.
good at mind pong. He's focused, and he's playing entirely of his own volition. It's not magic. The reason Neuralink works is because it's recording and decoding electrical signals
And
from the
he is
brain.
damn good, man. This monkey is damn
Great
good.
game, Pager. And what better reward for a monkey than a banana?
Oh my god. So, the brain of a monkey and the brain of a human being. Not very different at all. Some development in your prefrontal cortex, but that's it. If a monkey can do this, today, if you put the Neuralink in a human brain, it can happen. Because if anything, the human brain is even more capable of figuring out how to fine tune it. So the chip doesn't have to be super accurate because our brain itself can do the rest of the work. So the chip can actually hijack our brain's pre-existing software prowess and allow it to become better, if that makes sense. So the reason that I feel it is going to happen in our lifetime is because every time technology improves, it improves to a certain extent and then it stops. Now, I feel like with mobile phones, I think we have reached the limit. Matlab, you can see also in the last 5 years, 5 years, 6 years, phones have not really changed much. बहुत ज़्यादा फर्क नहीं हुआ है. यही चल रहा है. मतलब every phone now looks the same. Technology has not made any drastic improvement in the last 7 years, I think. I believe that the next real revolution is one, virtual reality, virtual and augmented reality, and two, brain machine interfacing. And very, very possibly both of them together eventually. Like, I think that is where the world is going. We are going towards a world where both virtual reality and brain machine interfacing is going to bring everything together. Everything is going to enter our brain until it is going to be impossible to tell the difference of who am I and who is this machine. It is impossible to tell the difference between what is my imagination and what is reality, because our reality is getting created in front of us. So imagination and reality is going to get mixed, and that's where we'll be. So hopefully we'll still be streaming. Hopefully we will still, at that time, we will still be talking. The only difference is that you will not be sitting in front of a screen and I will not be sitting in front of a screen, because we will not need to. I could probably stream my consciousness, which is why it is called a stream of consciousness. A stream of consciousness is going to be live. We are going to have a live stream of consciousness, guys. All right. On that note, quickly like the stream, everybody, while you still can. Pretty soon there's no like button. Pretty soon it's all going to be in your head. So while you can like the stream, go down to the comments, leave comments below the video. It helps in the algorithm. And if you are interested in neuroscience and you want to know the basics of neuroscience, go click on the pinned comment and check out my workshop on the 14th and 15th of August. I want to show you one more interesting thing.
We still have challenges.
So Neuralink is very, very cool. There is a lot of stuff we still have to discuss about Neuralink. We have to talk about how neurons connect to each other. We have to talk about how does the implant actually pick up those impulses. We'll have to talk about all of that. Somebody's mentioned that this is going to be part of warfare, and it is very possible. Okay, very, very possible. People, can you imagine the top gaming streamers of today being allowed to control weapons, like real weapons, like somebody like Shroud, for example, or Tenzi on he plays Valorant and Shroud plays everything. Can you imagine them being in charge of actual shooters and snipers on the battlefield, and they're all controlling robots? I mean, with their mind. So they don't even have the lag of a mobile or a mouse or a keyboard, nothing. It's just directly in their minds. Yep. That's where we are going. All right. Now, I was just having fun basically, and I found something pretty interesting. I was on Reddit, okay, and I found something called as Neuroscience Memes. So there is this whole group, there is this whole Reddit subreddit called Neuro Memes, and it is hilarious. I mean, not all of it. Like some of it is like okay, but some of it is superb. Like it's like this is, you got a lot of nerve. The axon body is telling so this is the axon body, and this is the cell body, this is the axon, and this is the dendrite. And so the cell body is telling you got a lot of nerve, and the dendrites are saying oh synapse, because the dendrites are the ones connecting to the next one. Can we get an isolated unit? This is about neural connections, neural CCM treating status epilepticus. So these are all different anti-epileptic drugs. So when status epilepticus is when somebody comes with seizures that cannot be controlled with two or more medicines, and the seizures are just going on and on and on, and nothing that we do is working. So then you give everything because you have to stop the seizure. The seizure can be very life-threatening if it continues. So just press everything. जो है सब कुछ दे दो. Let the seizure stop. So that is what this one is. I thought this was hilarious, but it's quite like it's quite technical, but the idea of inhibitory neurons and rebound excitation name a bigger betrayal of trust. So inhibitory neurons are, say neuron 1 is telling neuron 2 don't do it, but there is a rebound excitation. So when neuron 1 tells neuron 2 don't do it, neuron 2 is telling neuron 1 do it, and so neuron 1 is telling neuron 2 don't do it. So there is like a back and forth. So that is what this was about. And this is a pretty cool page. I kind of liked it. If you are into neuroscience, you should check it out. Also, I mean, I have a subreddit which I just started and I kept, but I thought that this is a very cool idea. If you have, or if you find something interesting, then you should definitely share it. So hold on, I'm going to share that with you guys as well. So that's my subreddit. I'm gonna check it out. So if you find something, if you find an interesting article, or if you find some interesting meme that you want me to take a look at, just put it over here and I will take a look at it. And we can even discuss it on the next stream. I think that's going to be super fun. Now, what are you guys saying? Hold on. Does everything I have now an accumulative result of my surrounding? If yes, what is the meaning of life? Yes, it is actually. Everything that you are now is an accumulative result of not surroundings only, but it is an accumulative result of your genetics, all your experiences in your life, and the way that your brain identified patterns. That's what you are. So I'm going to wait. I'll show you this also. Hold on. So this is basically the workshop, and this is what we are going to be talking about. So somebody was asking me, what is the workshop going to be about? So this is what the workshop is going to be about. We are going to be talking about, we're going to talk about thoughts. We're going to talk about emotions. We're going to talk about identity. We are going to be talking about basically anatomy से लेके evolution, cognitive neuroscience, behavioral neuroscience, and neurophilosophy. So from the cellular level, basically neuron से शुरू करके all the way to what does that mean for life? What does that mean for our attitude towards the world? What does that mean for our belief systems? Where does spirituality come in? Where does religion come in? So that whole journey I want to cover in 6 hours. So it is going to be quite a challenge, and I've already started working on it, and I think I'm going to basically just work my ass off for the next 2 weeks to create an incredible workshop for you guys. So that's the plan. That is what I'm going to do in the month of August. All right. What about neuroscience of morality? What AI is talking about currently? So neuroscience of morality is the idea of right and wrong. I feel is very contextual, but consequences are not. So that's the thing. Morality is both extremely abstract and extremely practical, and in the same time. And that is why morality discussions are tricky. I think we should talk about this in depth. Need to buy a new notebook for that. Yes, Prabjot. I know that you've attended the last one. I'm super excited that you'll attend it again. I hope that you will, and I'm going to see you then. Short answer on free will. All right. My short answer on free will is that there is no such thing as free will, but there is something called freer will. You have some choice in what you say and do, but you don't have infinite choice, and you don't have absolutely no choice. It's not like that. So there are some things that are beyond your control, and there are some things that are in your control, and you have more things in your control than any species ever did in the history of the world. So that is something to be glad for, but yeah, it's not absolute. All right. Elon Musk is in the chat. Welcome, Elon. Do you know Andrew Huberman? Your collab with him. I would absolutely love to have Andrew Huberman on my podcast in any capacity, actually, to collaborate with him. I don't think I don't think my channel is at that level yet that I can call him, but I'm hoping that someday I will be able to call these guys for a podcast, because it's going to be incredible having these conversations with them. But let's hope. I'm thinking probably 100K is a good number before I can even think about calling people like that. But let's see. Let's see. Have you read the book Feeling Good on Cognitive Therapy? No, I have not, Shan. Did it make you feel good? I really hope it's happened sometimes in the future. I hope so too. That's what we have, right? We have hope. Neurons are also firing for the muscular movement. How are they able to filter out those signals from the signals focusing on moving the cursor directly? That is exactly it, Vaishak. So when I want to move the cursor to the left, I have to move certain muscles in my hand. Those muscles are connected to certain neurons in my brain. When those neurons fire, my hand will move. But my hand need not be connected to the joystick, because my brain is directly connected to the joystick. And do you realize that it is so incredible that this, I can talk for 2-3 hours on this, but basically when you saw that joystick being removed, that wire being removed, that is basically saying that there is no need for a connection anymore. I can directly move the joystick with my mind. What do you think the hand is? The hand is a wire that your brain is using to connect to the world. Do you realize? So now, just like the joystick wire was removed because there was no need, you don't need the hand to touch things anymore. You don't need the hand to move things anymore if your brain can directly move things. Why do you need a tongue? Why do you need your mouth? Why do you need to speak if you can communicate directly? There is a reason why the hand evolved. There's a reason why the fingers evolved, because you wanted to move things in the environment. There's a reason that your throat and your vocal cords and your language evolved, because you wanted to communicate. It is like reversing evolution all the way and then figuring out, okay, do we even need all of this anymore? There is a lot, there is a lot to unpack in the whole Neuralink discussion. We will keep revisiting it. Every time I do a back to basics stream, we will pick up something interesting in the world of neuroscience. If you guys figure out something interesting, if you come across an article, if there's something you want me to talk about, send it to me. Put it up in either the Reddit community. I think I would really love it if it's all in one place. So a couple of people had even shared something on Discord. Wait, hold on. Just hang on a second. Somebody had shared something on Discord. So Oumuamua, I think that's the name of that. I think it was like an asteroid or something, right? That visited Earth. Oumuamua. Anyway, so Oumuamua sent this article called. Sure, I want to go there. Yes. All right. Let's go to that article then. Oh boy. ये क्या है? अरे यार. Okay, this is okay. So it's a New York Times article that's okay. This was on the languishing one, right. So I'll do a video on this. Cool. I'm gonna do a whole video on languishing. How to stop daydreaming. Oh, don't stop daydreaming. Use daydreaming. Daydreaming is when you are creative. Use daydreaming to figure out how you can do new stuff. Can you talk about testosterone? Reddit goes crazy over it. Well, testosterone is an extremely powerful hormone. Just like dopamine, just like oxytocin, just like serotonin, testosterone is an extremely powerful hormone. It has big benefits and it has big side effects on how the brain works, right? So, and the problem is that testosterone has a lot to do with it is most known for the sexual effects. Everybody talks about testosterone in terms of masculinity and in terms of how men behave and how men are the way they are because of testosterone. But it is not just that. Women also have testosterone and it has effects which are very, very wide ranging. We can discuss it. One whole section of the workshop is going to be just on neurotransmitters. So that is another thing. So many people have asked me about neurotransmitters. Some book on neurotransmitters, easy way to learn about neurotransmitters. So we'll be spending like around 45-50 minutes just on neurotransmitters, because neurotransmitters is the language of the brain. The brain communicates through neurotransmitters. So understanding language is the key to learning, right? So you need to know about neurotransmitters to learn about anything about the brain. So we will definitely be covering that. All right. What do you guys say? Let's wrap up. और क्या बोलना था? I think that I think we are good. Anything else? Tell me. Has everybody liked the stream or no? No, not yet. Like the stream, guys. What is this? Can I take the course if I'm a beginner in this topic? Absolutely, Chaitanya. I'm going to assume that nobody has attended anything of mine, and so I'm going to take it from scratch. I'm going to assume that you've never heard of neuroscience, and by the end of 6 hours, you will have a pretty clear idea of who you are in terms of what your brain is doing. And that's really it. You know, the reason I like neuroscience is because it makes me feel that everything is reworkable. Whatever is the problem, you can dismantle it and reshape it in a way that is suitable for you. So that's why I like neuroscience. Because it just makes me feel calm that ho jayega. I'll figure this out and I'll work through it. And maybe I'm wrong. Of course, there will always be situations where you cannot handle it all by yourself and you do need help and you should take help. But it's like my car mechanic analogy, right? If you know car mechanics, you are much more comfortable going for a road trip. Because now you know, अगर गाड़ी खराब हो गया तो भी ठीक है, I know how to fix it. मुझे किसी की जरूरत नहीं है, I can fix it. And I know enough to know when I can't fix it and when I should take the car to a garage, when I should call a professional mechanic. उतना अक्कल है मुझे. I have that much knowledge. The problem with mental health, the problem with personality, the problem with anxiety, all of these things is that we don't know कब खुद से ट्राई करना है, कब हेल्प लेना है, किससे पूछना है, क्या बोलना है, क्या करना है, कुछ नहीं पता. हम लोग ऐसे ही जा रहे हैं and hoping against hope that everything just takes care of itself. It is like Big Bang Theory में that check engine light, right? वो चल रहा है check engine light and कोई देख नहीं रहा है. That is what is happening with mental health and the brain. So I think that's what learning neuroscience does. It gives you a very ground up perspective of this is me, this is why I am like this, and this is what I can do. Neha Pujari, thank you for sharing the knowledge. It's really helpful to understand ourselves. Absolutely. What else is there except understanding yourself? Elon Musk, welcome to Sid's stream and Sid's team. Sorry. Okay. Couple of questions I'll take. What differentiates attachment from addiction? They are very different things. Addiction is an impulse. Addiction is addiction is a psychological problem. Attachment is a natural response to seeing something or someone you like. Yug Patel, love you, said thank you, Yug. I appreciate that. Love you too. Prasad Veer, make one video on how the brain parts and function, how the human brain works. So, I mean, right now, all my energy is going to be spent on answering these questions for the workshop. I'll be honest with you. For the next 2 weeks, I'm only going to be working on the workshop and answering specific questions in the chat, in the comments. Okay, so that's what I'm going to do. Once a week, 5 to 10 comments I'm going to pick up from Instagram. If you don't follow me there, do follow me there. And I have a backlog of some 30-40 comments that I have picked up, some really interesting questions that people have asked me over the weeks and months, and I'm starting to make videos of that. So that's the plan. That's the plan for now. Make a workshop and answer some questions. Okay. You're a really awesome person. Please check my question. Arvind, what was your question, man? Thanks for the stream, doc. Thank you, Shreyansh. How am I so funny and how much grateful are you for me? Waldy, oh, I'm extremely grateful. I think when Waldy joins the stream, it makes everything seem much more fun, right? Would you all agree? I can see you all have knowledge of basic, still you do these things. You have all knowledge of basic, still you do these things which you shouldn't do. Chess freak. So this is something that even I was thinking about, that when you say that you should or should not do something, you are automatically assuming one way of doing things, that this is how you should live, this is what you should do. I don't really think life is that black and white. I think that the most important thing is to truly understand the reason why you're doing something and truly understand the consequences of what you're doing. So suppose you want to eat chocolate cake every day, you should understand why do you want to eat chocolate cake every day? What is going on in your brain that is making you eat chocolate cake every day? And two, what is going to happen? What is going to happen when your sugar levels go up? What is going to happen when your cholesterol levels go up? What is going to happen when your triglyceride levels go up? And what are the consequences of these things going up? Once you understand that, okay, you have a 20% more risk of a heart attack, when you have a 45% more risk of a stroke by the age of 45 and 50, and you know that and you accept that, then you can do whatever the fuck you want. I think that's my philosophy. Basically, I don't think anybody can tell anybody what to do or what not to do unless they're hurting somebody. But in their own life, everybody has a choice. Everybody has that right to do what they want, provided they know why they're doing it and what are the consequences. So it cannot be कि बाद में जब heart attack हो जाता है तो बोलता है अरे why did I get a heart attack? Of course, I mean that's the risk you take, right? So that is basically my perspective. The Sahil, it's so peaceful listening to you. Is it taught in medical school? Because I feel confident and happy listening to any doctor. Well, I think all doctors do develop a sense of talking in a way that makes people feel comfortable. क्योंकि वो करना पड़ेगा. It's part of who you are, or it becomes part of who you are. That being said, thank you so much that you said that. I appreciate it. Will this be available online after the workshop? I'm a PG aspirant. My schedule is really tight, but don't want to miss out on this treasure of knowledge. So, Balan, anybody who buys the workshop, it is going to be available to you for the next 3 months. So that's what this workshop is going to be. For the next 3 months, it is going to be available to you. So if you're buying it at any point from now till 14th of August. All right. Thank you so much for the stream. Rashmi, thank you so much. Now, a couple of other announcements. I really wanted to do a video just talking about some videos on Sadhguru. So tell me what do you guys think. Tell me if there are any specific experiences that you've had, something that Sadhguru said that really helped you, something that changed the way that you look at life, the way you look at, that has affected your philosophy, if you've heard of any of his speeches. Because I've listened to him in the past, and I've recently started listening to him again, and I have a lot of thoughts about him, and I'm kind of curious to do this. So let me know what you guys think, because I want to do it as a live stream. I want to do it in front of all of you guys. So I think it'll be fun. Also, tell me if it's a good idea or if you think that it can get controversial. I think he uses a lot of blanket statements, which I don't like. There are some things definitely in that line. I have certain qualms about what he says, but there are certain things that he says that are really meaningful. So yeah, it's a mixed bag. Can you throw some light on depersonalization and derealization? So depersonalization and derealization are both outcomes of you not having a complete sense of whole. Like who are you in context to your environment? So there are two different parts of your brain that have been assigned the responsibility of figuring out these two realities. What is outside you and what is inside you. There are two different parts of the brain, and they are constantly communicating. एक अंदर का भाग है, एक बाहर का भाग है, and they have to constantly keep talking to each other tell each other ki, okay, this is me, and the other person says, हाँ ये बाहर का चल रहा है, and then those two things put together gives you the sense of me in this environment. When that connection gets weak, then you might get the sense of I am not here. In a way, something like that happens with deja vu. So this is one question that people have asked me hundreds of times. What is deja vu? And one of the explanations for deja vu is this. There is a disconnect. There is a disconnect in your sense of time and place. And you feel that whatever is happening has already happened in the past. So there is a cross connection between your memory and your sense of here and now. And you feel that your here and now is coming from the past. So that is where deja vu is. Can you watch Sadhguru with David Eagleman, neuroscientist? I really liked that video. That is definitely one of the videos that I will be sharing on screen and talking about. But if you can find more videos like that, then put it in the comments below. All right, I think it's almost 11 o'clock. Guys, we're going to wrap up. Thank you so much for being a part of this. I hope that you all enjoyed. I hope you had a good time. And I'm going to see you guys soon. Every week, whenever we do the Back to Basics stream, it's going to be like this. It's going to be just you and me chilling and me sharing some really interesting stuff that I found during the week and sharing some things that you found during the week. So if you found some good articles, some good video, something you want me to check out, send it to me, put it on that Reddit subreddit, or share it with me on Discord, and I'll pick it up. See you guys. Good night.